Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. My name is Jerry Stecco, for those who don't know me. I build and scale info products for a living. If you clicked on this YouTube video, it's because the title spoke to you. It's because you're compelled to do something more. You're compelled to have a different life than the average person. And I can resonate with that. I 100% can. Now, the reason why I wanted to just overall have this video, and the main purpose of this video, just so I can keep it kind of structured, is overall the mindset shift that you have to go through to become successful at such a young age. A little bit about me. So I've been in the info game for about 3.5 to 4 years now. I've made, let's just say, well over 7 figures in the online space. I don't really share publicly, how much I make for, multiple reasons. But let's just say I've made over 7 figures, having been in the online space, multiple 7 figures now. So I know a thing or two about scaling infrastructures, info products, and everything. And the main reason why I wanted to make this video was simply because I see a lot of people now around, so I'm 22, a lot of people that are 21, 22, 18, 19, people I used to be friends with, people from my high school, and they want to become successful. For those who align with what I just said, who want to become successful, this video is for you. I don't think you guys truly understand, or maybe very, very few, 0.1 percentile of people truly understand what it really means to become successful at such a young age. Now, for me, the definition of success is not just financially speaking. Success is very subjective to everyone, but for me, a man that is successful is a man that has his priorities straight, that is financially extremely secure, that physically is in very good shape, and is taking after the people around him. If you're a man and you do that, then in my opinion, you're successful. Now, what number? Look, it really depends. So for me, 100K a month is where, okay, you're really successful at a young age. And I know some people might say, no, Jerry, 100K a month is way too much, or 100K a month is way too little. Look, it depends. That's my definition. For me, for making $100,000 every single month take home in your pocket after taxes, 6 figures a month. Doesn't matter what you say in your early 20s, you have 99.99% life that no one will ever have, right? Now, when it comes to the key trait of what you have to have, I think number one is getting used to rejection and welcoming the fear. I say welcoming the fear because throughout your entire life, especially in high school, in college, if you got to university as well, you've been conditioned. Your brain has been conditioned to think in a certain way. The people you speak to, your own family members, my own family members didn't believe in me. Okay, it might sound shitty, but I'm being honest. They didn't believe in me because they didn't have the entrepreneurial mindset. So if ever that sounds like your parents, guys, you aren't alone, right? You're preconditioned since birth to think in a certain way. And the hardest thing to ever do is to go against the societal norm. I cannot tell you how hard it is, because you might have a goal, you might have something in your mind and that's burning, it's a burning desire. And the people around you, the closest ones to you, are the ones that hold you back the most. And if you resonate with what I'm saying, guys, from the bottom of my heart, please listen to me when I tell you that you had that idea implanted inside you for a reason. Please listen when I say that the idea, the thought, the urge, the hunger you have placed inside you is for a reason. Do not let that go to waste. Because if I listened to what other people told me to do, if I listened to my own parents on what I should have done, I would not have become the person I am today. I can promise you that hand on heart. If I cared about judgment, if I cared about what other people my age thought of me, I would not be where I'm at today. You have to genuinely accept the fact that a lot of people will just not resonate with your decisions, will not resonate with your actions. Because the reality is, it's gonna cost you your old life. It's gonna cost you your old friends. It's gonna cost you your old connections, your old habits. Whatever you might do right now for fun, you will not find that fun in a year's time, in 2 years' time, when you're gonna be really big in the info product space, or in whatever space that you're looking to dive into in the business field. Because you have to rewire your brain. So a bit of backstory on me. I used to always go out. I used to love partying. Whoever's watching this, if you know me, and if you met me when I was between the ages of 17 to 20, I was always out. Like, there wasn't a party in my neighborhood that I wasn't at. And whoever's watching this, if you truly know me, not through social media, but through like actual close acquaintances, you'll know that I'm right. Every club I was there, every party I was there. And I had no purpose in life. I had no direction. And a man with no purpose will distract himself with pleasures. Okay, that is the number one thing I can take and tell you guys right now. So what did I do? I distracted myself because I had no clear intent behind what I wanted to do in life. And the entire time, I was living a life that other people wanted me to live. I was predisposed to have a life since I was born that I did not truly want. I remember sitting in the back of university class doing finance, and I was like, I don't even want to do this. I remember applying for internships and I got accepted for like a very, very prestigious one. And I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, why am I going to this internship? And it was just because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to form in the society, like in society in general, which quite frankly, now I look back and I'm like, that is the last thing I want to do. The people I look up to the most right now are those who stand out the most. So why am I going to do things that are, aligned with what other people do? That makes no sense, right? So that's step number one. Step number one is realizing that, well, hold on a minute, wait a second. The current reality in life I have right now is not the one I actually want to live, okay? Once you've established that, you distinguish that, the second thing you have to do is say, why am I living this life? Which person or group of people pushed me to live this kind of life? And I need you to really be aware of those people around you in your circle, okay? And once you've distinguished those people in your life, it could be a girlfriend, it could be a parent, it could be a best friend, you have to separate yourself from them. This is what it's called the lonely chapter, okay? This is where 99.9% of people are not cut out. The lonely chapter for me was when all the partying, all the alcohol, everything was cut out. I didn't go out anymore. I didn't drink. I didn't say yes to plans. And if some of the people here watching the video will recognize that period of my life when I didn't answer their texts, when I had to close myself off to find myself again, you understand? Because when you're trying to transition from your old life to your new life, there's gonna be a moment in between where you have to find out, who is Jerry Stecco? Who am I? What do I actually enjoy doing? Why am I on this planet for? What's my purpose in life, okay? That lonely chapter where your phone's dry, your friends aren't hitting you up anymore because you don't align with them anymore. You don't fit in with your old friends, but you don't yet fit in with the new friends that you're about to make. And that is the hardest part, but I promise you, keep pushing, because it is so, how can I put it into words? The outcome of that is amazing, because in return, God will reward you time and time again. Once you've gone through that lonely period, that lonely chapter, while you're in that period of your life, what you have to do is take a pen and paper and write down everything that you're good at intrinsically. For me, it was sales, it was speaking. I was really good at talking to people. The way I'm talking with you guys, the way I communicate, it just came, it was very normal to me. Intrinsically, I've always had that since a young age. So I said, okay, I'm good at speaking, I'm good at displaying conviction, I'm good at transferring conviction. How could I monetize this? How could I provide a product or a service and make money online? Well, for me, that was high ticket sales. So I found my niche. I said, okay, I know what life I want. I know what life I don't want. Now, what do I have to do to be able to provide X, Y, and Z to the marketplace? And I started researching, and I relentlessly continued to research. And this was all while I was also still working a 9-to-5 job. Keep that in mind. I started off as an appointment setter in the industry, in the high ticket sales space, if you guys know, a DM setter. And I quickly outgrew everyone around me, everyone in my group, because I became extremely obsessed with it. When I tell you I became obsessed, more than a year and a half I didn't go out. I didn't go to parties, I didn't go to clubs, I barely saw people around me. I truly isolated myself as much as I possibly could, because at a certain point in time, that's what's needed. And quite frankly, I have no regret to this day, because if I hadn't isolated myself, I would have never known the possibilities of the online space. I then moved up into a dialer, cold calling, Jordan Belfort style. I remember watching Wolf of Wall Street so many times on repeat to kind of nail down the tonality that Jordan Belfort really had, you know? I got really good at that. And then I said, it's time to be a closer. And I had to move around different offers. And I finally landed a closing role. I paid my last $4,000, $5,000 into an online sales mentorship on how to learn high ticket sales, closing. And it's moments like those that are the scariest moments of my, even now to this day, thinking about that moment, I was like, so much fear. You know, very few people will understand what it means to be on a sales call and someone you have no idea asking you for $5,000 USD, which was my last $5,000. And he could sense the fear in my eyes. And I told him, I go, this is the last of my money. If I don't make this happen, I go back to a 9 to 5. Because by that time I had quit my 9 to 5 after I became a closer. And it's right in that moment that everything felt 10 times more real. Now, yes, it felt real when I quit my job and I went all in. Yes, it felt real when I started making some money. When I put my back against the wall, it was the scariest moment of my entire life. Ironically, that was when I also got very close with God, with the man above. Because I'm like, listen, God, I'm gonna put my entire faith in you. I trust what events you're gonna put forward in my life. I'm just gonna show up and control the variables I'm in control of. So I controlled what time I went to bed. I controlled what time I wake up. I controlled how many hours I had put towards this high income skill. And I just focused on what I can control. And I started beating everyone around me. I started outpacing, outcompeting people around me that's been in the sales space for years. And the only reason why I was able to do so was because I was extremely obsessed. And I didn't stop learning. And now I'm in a position where I actually manage multiple info product offers, as well as I have my own offer of consulting. And make no mistake, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But one thing I can tell you guys, for every single person that's aspiring to either become successful or is successful already, you have to have such a different mindset. And you have to be so okay in isolation and be critiqued and judged. Because I can't tell you guys how many people from my old life would, and still to this day, probably critique me and judge me, share my stories, share my reels, whatever it might be, and talk about me. That's perfectly fine. I can't control that. But you're going to be called crazy. You're going to be called delusional. And I need you to understand that that's totally okay. That is totally fine. That is part of the process. You just have to endure it. Because if you want to have a life that many people do not have, you have to be willing to make actions, do actions, and live a current life that many people wouldn't live. Wake up at the time people wouldn't wake up at. Work at the times people wouldn't work at. And give it your all. Don't split your focus into 5 different things. Do one thing and become obsessed with it. One thing and go all in. I could give you guys hours and hours of knowledge or advice, but if I had to really summarize it, it just boils down to that. And for every single person here that might be thinking, I don't know where to start, I'm confused, or you're just procrastinating, really audit yourself and ask yourself, how much effort did you really give? How much time did you really give into researching what to do? Was it like a 30-minute, 45-minute while you were, waiting for something, while you were at the gym, in the morning before work? Because I promise you, if you sat yourself on a weekend and you sat with yourself for 6, 7, 8 hours and you did not leave your room until you found out what you wanted to offer to the marketplace, you would have found it. And nowadays with AI, it's never been easier to make money online. But it's also never been easier to be successful because everyone is extremely average. In a society where short form content is extremely utilized and the younger generation is distracted from Instagram, from TikTok, with low attention spans, low quality foods, the system is rigged against you. I'll say that one more time. The system is rigged against you. It's extremely normalized to go out at a young age and party and have fun and drink on the weekends and just live your 20s. It's okay if you don't want to do that, because that means that you have a special mindset and you have to really be grateful for that, because many people don't. And the saddest thing in life is when you're given that mindset, you don't act on it, because that's your way, and that's you giving a testament to the man above himself that you aren't grateful for the mind that he's given you. Now, the life you want, everyone wants. Why do so few people get it? Everyone wants to retire their parents. Everyone wants to take care of their parents. Everyone wants to get their dream car. Everyone wants to have a dream lifestyle. Why do so few people get it? Because very few are willing to do what it actually takes. And until you're prepared to put your back against the wall, isolate yourself, find yourself, and align yourself with the life that you're gonna have eventually. Until you're able to do all those things, do not expect to have a great life. And if you watch this video and you feel a sense of motivation, I regret to inform you that motivation is nothing. Action, but motivation is nothing. Take a pen and paper, write down step by step what you're gonna do the next 30 days, find yourself, describe who you are, your current life, take an audit of yourself, realize what has to change, and set systems in place. Set dates, timelines. Start to audit your day. Realize where your time is going. Pick up on your trends, on your habits, and you'll soon realize that you set yourself up for failure every single day. I'll leave you guys with this. Thoughts turns into actions. Actions turns into habits. Habits turns into behavior. Behavior turns into lifestyle. It all starts in the mind. I knew I was rich when I was making $1,000 a month on my part-time job. I knew I was rich when I was taking out the dumpster. I knew I was rich because my mindset aligned with it well before my reality kicked in. It starts with the mind, then the actions unfold. With that, keep pushing, keep working, and never give up.